Hey guys, Gabe here with another fragrance review. Now, this one's gonna be different than some of the other ones that I do because this is gonna be a comparison. So you guys know I love this fragrance lineup, the Blue Jeans by Versace fragrance lineup. Of course, there's green jeans, baby blue jeans, but these are all long gone. Well, here's probably the best thing I've ever came across. So I was up at the Fashion Mall at Keystone, but then I went to the nearby Nordstrom rack. Found this sealed. A vintage bottle of Versace blue jeans. Well, so we're going to be doing a kind of like an unboxing and comparison. So as you can see, there is definitely a difference. You see, this has the original Versace logo, unlike this one. Here's my present day bottle of blue jeans. We'll actually spray this one on my right hand, and we'll compare these two. So we're going to unbox the vintage one right now. And they had 3 of these, and I was like, I did spend a little bit more money on it, but I spent 30 bucks on it, but hey, it was a vintage bottle, so I kind of had to, because this was very rare indeed to find something like this. Let's open this up. And yep, it is a vintage bottle. So it is kind of, so as you can see, this one has more of the more present day Versace logo, where this one is more, the juice is a little bit lighter. It's kind of hard to tell than this one. It better not be my mom. But this juice is a little bit darker than the vintage one. So I'm actually going to spread the vintage one on my arm. Yeah, that is a difference. So, yeah, there is a big difference. Well, not a huge difference, but there's just let me scoot this back, guys, so you can see more clearly of the bottles. So, this is the newer batch, and this one is the vintage. There's not a huge difference, but there's definitely a noticeable difference. And also here's the difference. See the new one's obviously more darker than the older one. But I will say that the thing is about this one is with the vintage, the vanilla is a lot more sweet than the new formulation is. The new formulation is more of that that freshness that you get, where the vintage one is more and yeah, I could tell that I cannot believe I found this there. The vintage is more of a, yeah, the vanilla is more sweet in the vintage than it is in the new one, in the newer formulations. Now, I'm surprised that I just can't believe I found the vintage one there. I was like, oh, there's blue jeans. I was like, what? Huh? That's the vintage formulation. How do they have 3 of those? I was like, you know what? That's it. That's it. I'm definitely buying one of these. So, you know what? I did. Because I couldn't pass on that. Because the vintage formulations now are definitely not cheap. I think when I saw it online, the vintage versions are going for over $150, which, that ain't cheap, given that this fragrance you could sometimes find for less than 20 bucks, or right around that price range. They smell, well, they're the same fragrance, so they're obviously going to smell the same. But the thing is this one is more of the vintage is more of a, the vanilla is more potent in the vintage than it is in the newer formulations. They both smell exactly the same, except just the only difference is the vintage one has a more potent vanilla than the newer formulation does. Now, how you can tell it's vintage is, well, so as you can see, this is the more present day Versace logo, and let's get out my green jeans bottle to show you that well, it's kind of hard to see the Versace logo. Well, let me see. So you see that the green jeans can has this, the letters are closer together. But on the newer ones, the letters are spread apart. So, yeah, here's green jeans. Yeah, oh God, this is so much different than blue jeans. These are, guys, these are nowhere near as close to the same fragrance. This is just a complete green fragrance. I used to wear it. Then, after I heard all the jeans got discontinued, then I started wearing quite a bit of blue jeans. I mean, and man, and at the Nordstrom rack is where I found this vintage bottle. This is probably the best find I've had this year, because you never see vintage bottles that are sealed, especially 3 of them, in a freaking rack store. Like, now, if you can't get the vintage, don't like say, no, I don't want a new formulation. The new formulation, it really hasn't changed at all. It still smells great. And for the price, dude, you can't beat it. Hell, even Michael Jackson would say he couldn't beat it. Over there, Michael Jackson said, well, Billie Jean and you can't just beat it. Yeah, you can't beat it. For that price, you can't beat this stuff. It's great. Because, and honestly, it also might be better to get this one than this one, because you're not going to be spending well over $100. But with, oh, something's in my eye. What the hell? Like you are with this one. I ain't going to be wearing this one very much, because I'm just lucky to have a vintage bottle in my collection. And that'll also fit more with like my my green jeans and black jeans and what's that? Oh yeah, metal jeans over there. And hey, my childhood baby. But yeah, so which one is better? I'm gonna say between these two, both of them are better. Because they're the same fragrance. It's just a formula comparison. So, but I'm just so surprised that I even found this one in my collection. That I found this one literally in the freaking rack store, sealed. Like, sealed, bro? Like, come on. There's no way you can easily find that nowadays. Yeah, so here's one more, and here's also the difference of the cans. Here's the new one, and here is the vintage. So they're the same fragrances. The formulas are quite a bit different. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this unboxing and comparison of Versace blue jeans, the vintage and the newer formulation. You ready to see more fragrance videos? I might actually do more videos on more of the whole jeans line. I actually might do a video of the jeans line as a whole, but we'll talk about that one next time. So I'll see you guys. Love you guys. Peace out. Goodbye.